Good afternoon and welcome to the Teens Talk at Deliverance Church in Bulbul. My name is Eliud Achero. The substance of our discussion today is the boy child. I have a panel here that is going to help us in our discussion. But first, before we start our conversation, I'd like us just to run the quick shots of our teens trying to articulate themselves and explain to us what they have been experiencing concerning the boy child, girl child issues. Take a look.
I'm Dorcas Arosa. In traditional African society, a boy was a superior warrior. In fact, my grandmother used to tell me this, that my grandfather was a superior warrior whom she admired and adored him, while her was sitting behind, doing the house chores, looking after the children. That's why we girls need to be empowered.
My name is Kamau, and in the recent past we've seen the boy child being neglected. For example, in my childhood, my elder sister one day came home with a graze on her hand, and my mother took care of her wound. But someday I was riding my bicycle and I accidentally fell and injured my knee. But my mother, let me quote her words exactly in Kiswahili. She said, "When mwanaume yovumilia."
I'm Elizabeth. The boy child is not being neglected. He's the one whom is neglecting himself because he never takes time to spend with his family. Actually, the boy child doesn't have the advice that he takes to do in life, and all that you'll get it from the parents, and is not there to listen to whatever the parents are saying.
Okay, I'm Maura, and I'm here to talk about the negligence of the boy child. I once had a friend of mine who came to me reporting of how he had been raped by an old woman, and he was so ashamed of himself that he could not even tell anyone, but he only came to tell me since I was his friend. And since I was his best friend, I decided to help him and took him to the police station. And while we were reporting the case, the police on the police station told us to wait for a minute. As we were waiting, a lady came with the same situation, that she had been raped, and I was shocked when the ladies were given the first priority and the boy was left behind suffering. That's when I came to realize that the boy child is really not being recognized in the community.
Well, those are fascinating explanations coming from our teens there. Do you think that over the past few years there has been too much concentration on the girl child to an extent that it's now difficult to make the shift to boys now that girls are surpassing boys at every level of education? Do you think or feel that the boy child is being neglected? That's why we begin our conversation this afternoon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. They have asked me to keep it short and sweet, and let's meet them. We have Mr. Joseph here. He is the commander-in-chief of the armed teens. The teens have no missiles, they have no weapons, but the Bible is their weapons. He is also coming here as the senior of the senior teens, as you can see. He is the eldest amongst the teens. Welcome, Mr. Joseph. Moving on swiftly to our sister, Mercy. She is a very philanthropic lady. She is also coming here as the boy child advocate and an activist as well. Welcome, Mercy. We have Mr. Sam, a man who is well versed with the Bible. He is also coming here as the president of the People from Atoms. We are privileged to have a diversity of the youths, one of them being categorized as the Atoms, that is a teen on a mission. And it happens that he is, of course, the president of those people. Welcome, Mr. Sam. We also have Mr. Brian Mwema. He is the chief opposition leader. He is a man who always opposes everything, and he will always convince you that what you know is just an ounce of what he has. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like a brief comment from Mr. Joseph. Do you feel that over the past few years, people have been concentrating on the girl child to such an extent that the boy child is no longer in the picture, Mr. Joseph?
Yeah, I truly agree with you. Yes. And over the past years, over the past decade, it's something which is arising and it's a crisis. It's developing, we need to take action. Look at education. Last year, it was 2017. Out of the top 20 students in Kenya, only 6 were boys. That shows that there is something which is missing. Look at KCPE. It was all dominated by girls. So it pushes and makes us realize that there's a problem. Okay, when you look at the way teachers in our schools, because if you see boys aren't performing, it means that there is a problem beginning from the teachers to the parents. So it is out of personal experience, I've come to realize that teachers are so clumsy and so notorious towards the boy child, and they like sidelining the boy child while being overconfident in the girl child. Okay, you can also look at the way teachers and parents are advocating for gender equality. They are not spearheading as the way they are supposed to spearhead it in order for fair play. Also, when you look at the way teachers or parents acknowledge the learner, if a girl child passes well, you will hear the parent acknowledging the girl in a different way and sidelining the boy. Also, the way
Okay,
they
maybe just to add on what you're saying, maybe if I get you right, you're trying to say that the teachers, they congratulate girls for being girls and they punish boys for being boys.
Yeah, that's totally true. And also, when you look at the way parents talk to their children, especially their girls, the language is very different. They do not handle boys as the same way they handle the girls. Also, when they give out responsibilities and duties, you find out that a girl is given more privileges and more duties than learning the boy. The boy needs also those duties, but the parents and the teachers are not giving the boy that chance. Also, when you look at the way scholarships are given, girls are given more priority. Even when you look at university entry points, the girl is supposed to score something, and the boy, the grade to enter is a little bit high. Why that? They look at activists. They come up day in, day out, giving out sanitary pads to girls' schools. Yes. But have you ever had even a group coming out and giving new pants to a boys' boarding school? Have you ever? Why? We tend to handle girls as egg, forgetting that the boys still exist. Even boys face a lot of problems in school, and we need to handle this thing with care. If we fail, the girls will be in danger, because our boys will turn out to be criminals. Our boys will turn out to indulge in drug abuse and drug substance use, and that will affect the way we should grow as a community and as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. And moving on swiftly to our sister Mercy, do you feel that the empowering of the girl child has swallowed up the boys who are not equally empowered?
Yeah, I see it as something which is coming at an alarming rate in our, not even in our country, so worldwide, because we are, as the men of that backstage, that continuous empowering of something, as in continuous indulging of something, is poisonous. That we forgot. That's why we are keeping this girl more pressure, and that's why they are rising above our boys, who should be men, who should be very big people in the society. Like, for example, I can take this in drug abuse. They are there, they are becoming at a higher population. Even the population of the boys there in places that is important to them is going down. Why? It's because these boys were not empowered. They were not even showed the way. They were not even, nobody was there to tell them, you're important, and you know you should take everyone as important as you are. Ladies, the problem you have, it's not because you are down. It's because you left these boys, you left that boy, that kid there, who was just looking at a girl and saying, who's me? Because they didn't know that these girls have also have also the potential as them. That's why you ladies are going down. That's why raping, molesting, and all those things are going up at a higher rate. So to bring this solution, this society into a calm way, into a better way for the society, we should empower these boys.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. What a conversation this is turning out to be. Now let's now shift to our opposition leaders and get the feel of what they have for us. Mr. Sam, I understand that the Bible is your constitution. Now based on that principality, what do you have for us?
You know the first thing, Mr. Eliud. There are some things which have been running in my mind. I've tried to listen to my fellow colleague, what they have said. But when we come in the real sense, our girls, they are so precious. In fact, I love girls. Why? There are some things which they are not getting. For example, I can go back before the time. We can try to look at the way our girls, they were being treated. And when we compare with the time that we are in, we are trying to bring our girls so that they can be equal with our men. For example, our girls, they don't get a lot of things like the boys the way they used to get. The work of the girl first, it was to stay at the house, to look at to wash utensils, things like those, house chores. They used to do those things. And then men, their work was to concentrate with big things. They were warriors, they were what. But for now, when we look at, when I come to these days, which the modern life which we are living in, our girls, they have raised to be great people in our country, even in the entire world. We can just look at Wangari Maathai, our late Wangari Maathai. That woman, there's no man who has ever put impact on our environment like Wangari Maathai. And we are supposed to give support to our girls, because our girls, they are not there to be married, just to be married and then they stay at house. For example, even men, if I ask you a question, men, you don't want to marry his person and then he stay at the house. You need someone so that he can help you, he can bring something in the house and then you bring something so that you can continue living. But if we concentrate on one side, there's no way we can say that the male child is supposed to go to school, is supposed to get this, is supposed to get this, and the girl child is not getting anything. We are not supposed to forget about our girl. Another point is that when we educate our girls, first thing, our girls grow very fast, they mature very fast, and they get things very fast. Like my fellow colleague there, he said that this year, girls, they led. Why? Because they grow very fast. They understand, they get things very fast. That is the reason.
Mr. Sam, can I ask you, don't you think that these examiners are grading girls more leniently compared to boys? Is that so as to why now the girls are the ones who are appearing at the tops,
no,
not the boys?
I say no.
Yes, why? Explain to us, Mr. Sam.
You know, when we look at our girls, really look at the schools of girls and the boarding for boys. Girls, first things, they don't use drugs. Most of them. They concentrate on their lives. You just hear girls saying that.
We also have girls who are drug peddlers.
Yeah, we know, but few. The percentage is so low compared to men. The government, they are trying to make girls so that we can be equal with boys. It is not that they are trying, because girls, we forgot, time past, we used to forget about girls. So we are trying to make them to be equal. It is not that we are trying, we are favoring girls. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sam. Mr. Brian Mwema, I understand that you are almost exploding with facts which are supported with empirical evidence. Now, what's your take on this?
Before I start, Eliud, please give me around 15 seconds to make some clarity.
It's okay. Go ahead.
When we talk of boys taking drugs, it's all about choices. The choices that the boys take, they are not the same choices that the girls will take. Thank you. I start. As I was thinking about the topic on the boy child, is being neglected, and I thought for some time, and the main question behind the scenes was WHY. Why did the one who came with the motion have to say so? I thought for a while and came into a realization that the empowerment of the girl child has brought about all this conflict, if I may say, and left the boy child in a rude shock. And if I may ask us or myself, why was the girl child empowered? One out of the many answers that I found out is that the disappointment the boy child gave to the society or left the society with after investing so hard on the boy child.
Mr. Brian Mwema, would you like to maybe to expand on those disappointments that the boy child? Okay.
In my assumption, I presumed that the society who is the main investor, got tired of investing in investment. When I talk of investments, I mean the boy child, in investments that never bore fruits. Perhaps the investor, that is the society, came into a realization that there was the girl child whom no investments had taken place. Well, the society empowered the girl child. The girl child utilized the opportunities for her betterment, if there's a word like that. And I'm indeed sorry to say this, that the girl child is perhaps doing better than the boy child in different parts of the world, or in most parts of the world. The girl child, who was considered as a liability, is now viewed as an asset in our society. From the whole story, the boy child, who had everything, including attention, disappointed the society. And he is now trying to give us lame excuses for his failures. The most exciting bit of this story is that the society has not given up on the boy child. Unfortunately, the boy child is so blinded that and still cannot see this, but holds on to accusations to the girl child as the main cause of his predicaments, or if I may say, the main hindrance to his success. The boy child must know or understand that the society has changed. The empowerment of the girl child is simply an equalization of both genders. Therefore, there is no turning back. That is, the society cannot drift its attention to the boy child any longer, but put both of them to the table and see what both of them can do. The empowerment of the girl child is simply an outward symbol, if I may say, of the society's desperation, if there's a word like that, for looking for a more better future in the society that will not have been achieved by the boy child alone. I may repeat, the empowerment of the girl child is simply an outward symbol, if I may say, of the society's desperation, kama kuna jina kama hiyo, for looking for a more better society that will not have been achieved by the boy child alone, or two, that was not seen, that was totally not seen in the boy child due to his pride. Going by my opinions of the future not seen in the boy child, then should the future of our society be scrambled? Reason because we are not willing to empower the girl child.
Thank you, Mr. Brand. Mr. Joseph, would you like to drop a missile on the other side?
Yeah. First of all, I feel like those people do not belong there. They're just pretending. And I have two questions, each for each one of them. First and foremost, my friend, knowing the other one, knowing the dictionary doesn't mean you know points. You talk a lot of English, but you aren't bringing out the factors which are true. So my first question is, you have talked about.
Joseph, maybe to cut you short, don't you think that you are the only one who doesn't understand the English?
No. Sincerely, I've done my research well. Okay? No, it's not. Yeah. He's acting like he knows everything. Let me expound. Okay? So first and foremost, my friend, the Bible secretary, secretary or CEO.
You can call it the way you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you have talked about previously in the olden days, things were handled and the boys were warriors, and then you have come to nowadays where the boys are indulging in drug, substance, and abuse. Is that true?
Yeah.
You have talked about that?
Yes.
So if it was your child and he's a boy and he's using drug substance, who will you blame? Who?
Can I ask?
No questions. Just answer with one word. Just answer with one word. I'm sorry, I didn't choose you. Let him answer. Listen. Okay.
I thought I had before I began giving my speech, I talked about choices. CHOICES. You must not.
Oh, okay. So
If in your dictionary you don't have anything like choices, in our dictionaries, there's something known as choices.
Okay.
The boy child has chosen the wrong choices.
Okay,
And that-
okay.
That they predict.
you see, even the English is
Sorry,
refusing you.
the
What are you trying to
predicaments,
say?
Listen, the predicaments, excuse, the predicaments that the boy child is facing is because of the choices that he chose to follow.
But I started by saying the question goes to him, okay? So I asked, if your child, who is a boy, is using drugs, who are we to blame? Is it you or the child?
First,
No. Just answer with one question. Yeah,
You are talking too much, but
No,
you're not
I'm not
listening.
talking too
That is
much.
the problem that you are.
Okay, yeah.
Listen.
Just give him humble.
First, we blame the parent,
Yeah, thank you. Uh-huh.
especially the male.
Yeah, why?
The reason is that
Uh-huh.
the man, you lead your children the way you are supposed. Even the Bible says that what? Son, you follow your father. Examples, the way you are supposed. He usually teach you the way you are supposed to teach your child, the way he's supposed to contact his family. But if you engage in wrong things and you don't talk to your child, how do you expect him or her to follow?
Okay.
For example, wait, first I finish. Let us look at the women. Since a child is born, the mother usually take care of the child. Usually teach the child. When the child has a problem, usually run to the mother. Why not the father? Because the father, instead of being to take care of his son, he doesn't. He's only concentrating about the work. But the mother is there to tell, do this, do this. And mostly we know that the boys, they don't listen to women. Mostly. For example, when they reach adolescence, they saw that when they reach adolescence, they usually think about, I'm above everything, I know everything. They don't listen. And then the father is there concentrating with other things. But the mother now is the one who is left. That's why we are supposed to take care of our girls. Not just saying about this. The mother, the women, they mean a lot to us.
Okay. So you have tried to explain yourself, but out of your reasoning, I can see that you are supporting us in a way that you are saying men are failing. We are not here to say girls are the ones who have a problem. You are supporting that men are failing. We are speaking out to the audience. Wait, we are speaking out to people out there who are facing these challenges in order for them to learn. So in your reasoning, you have concluded that men are the ones who are failing. And then how comes you jump into the point that our women are so responsible as they try to bring up the children, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that in your reasoning, you're supporting us because we are trying to find out the problem, okay? And thank you. To my
Wait,
other
first
friend,
I
to my other
finish.
friend, okay? Thank you.
Okay, you can't leave me hanging, okay? Listen first. You know, I'm not supporting a boy child. You know, first thing, let us look at the boy or the man. We know the responsibility of men. In our society, we know the men, they are leaders. Sindio? Do we know that?
They are head of the family, actually, for fathers.
And then we know women, according to the traditional African society, women are there not to take care of the children, but the father is supposed to take care fully as a traditional African community. The customs of our traditional African. The reason why I'm pointing on men, we used to give them everything. Everything good, the first thing used to go to them. They used to get everything good. But the women, they were just there at home. But our women, because these days we are trying to lift our women up, they are coming up and trying to bring the role which is supposed to be played by both parents.
Yes, Mr. Sam, don't you think that the bringing up has been too much?
Yeah.
It is not too much. Even I think the government is supposed to continue like that, so that our women can show the men their work. The men, they are failing. The men, we used to give them everything, but now
I
now,
think
the women, if we forget about the women, they will be down. And if the women, they are down, even there's a book, I remember while I was in high school, there's a book, River and the Source. There's a woman, she's called Akoko. There's a quote she usually quote. She usually say that when a woman is stupid, when a man is stupid, can be changed by the woman. But if at home, the woman is stupid, no one can change her.
How sure
Okay.
are you about that?
Meaning, if we can lift our women, they can be very good. And then they can change our men. But our men, they are just there. We gave them everything, and then we forget about the girl child.
Mr. Sam, are you trying to say that men cannot change women as well?
It is very hard. It is very hard for a man to change a woman.
Have you ever tried that? Let's just move to our sister Mercy. I'm sure you have something to ask our opposition leader.
Yeah, in fact, there are too many. Let me see where to start. Okay, my friend Sam, I hope that's her name. You said Wangari Maathai, our hero. Yeah, she's truly a hero. And she did good in taking care of our environment and trees. But did you ask yourself why it was not a man who did that? I see, you say, yeah, the women are they are sensitive.
Yeah.
Because you're even answering the question very correct. Because one thing, you didn't go down there and tell this boy, you know what? You also have to be sensitive like this woman. You have to know that everyone is important. You have to know that this environment it should be taken care of. You didn't look at that. What did you look at? You say, in fact, my friend, you're saying you're investing. You invested on them. How? What did you give these men? Where are we putting a good, as in a good concentration on this girl, and this boy is falling? If this girl was up, and we are and giving the concentration to the girl was good, we could be up. We could be in a society that could be good. But now this boy was taught ajikaze akuwa mwanaume. What's that? He should go grazing. He should be a warrior. What is that? He'll never become sensitive unless we empower him.
Thank you, our sister here. Mr. Sam, do you have something to ask?
I have something to add. You said that there was no someone to tell the boy to help him so that he can be sensitive like the woman. But do you want to tell me the woman was told so that she cared about the environment?
Yeah, she was left at home to wash the chores. She was to cook. She was to be tender to the husband. It's good you've created an example from the river and the source. I know you know the work of the Mikai. She was the first lady to the husband. She was to be very tender. She was to be there to advise. She was to be to wash the utensils and do such tender works. Not like the boy. The boy was to go hunting. What does such works? Like they are very insensitive.
Can I ask you? Wait.
Mr. Sam, you can hold your question. Maybe let us hear from Mr. Brand that question of his.
Eliud, I wonder where these people were when I was talking about my speech. I said that the investments that you are talking about was attention. The boy child disappointed the society. He got the attention, he got land, everything good that you can ever think about, the boy child was given.
Welcome back here at the Teens Talk at Delvins Church in Bulbul, where life is too short to be serious all the time. So if you can't laugh, you have to call me and laugh at you, okay? Back to you, Mr. Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Eliud. Okay, before I ask my question, I just want to correct my fellow colleague. Okay, Joseph said that about the Bible usually talk about gender. But when we look at the Bible, most of things they are based on men. The leaders were men, most of them. When it is mentioned, it is only very few. There are some things which women could not do. When we come to Quran, The only woman mentioned in Quran, it is only Mary. Everything it is based on men. And then my Mercy, she said that Wangari Maathai stayed at home washing things. That's why she was sensitive in some things. But if she was the one, would she like to stay at home, wash utensils, so that she can be sensitive? Or she could like to join men to study and do good things and bring change in the society. So my question goes to two of you. If you are asked to choose between father and mother, for example, if there is separation, who would you choose?
I will not give you a straight answer because I'm not advocating for the father is better than the mother. I'm not advocating for that, okay? So I won't answer you, I will choose who, but I will tell you something. Wherever you think of separation, yes, it's true it has happened, but does it not mean that there's a problem between the two? If it's the father who was the cause, what can we do to avoid that? Don't look at the situation and the afterwards. Look at the first things in order to prevent them. And my friend, wherever you ask somebody who calls for gender equality, he will never answer you at I love this gender, I love this gender. We are pushing for gender equality, and gender equality is not an alien or an point or concept. Thank you.
Yeah, to add on, when the father and the mother divorce, it's not my choice. They'll always be my parents, so I can't choose. They are there, then they'll always be there. And when you talk about equality in the Bible, when in Proverbs, when it's stated, my son, listen to the advice, it doesn't mean only the boy. It goes on to the girls. This is because the boy was created first, and that was for a reason. You have to respect God's decision of that.
I think that answer deserves a clap from around the applause. Thank you, Mercy. Briefly, Mr. Brand, I think you have something to say.
I send my question to both of them, and I'd like to ask both, you are Joseph Kamwaro and Mercy. Okay. It's a name is not an issue, so sorry if I offended you. Going by my opinions, if you heard what I said, should the future of our society be scrambled, reason because we are not willing to empower the girl child?
Okay, first and foremost, I will answer you with something. I will say, boys, the way they live their lives is very fundamental. Yes, isunisi yakwa, not that one. But it's very fundamental to the growth and to the importance of the society. So, we are not looking at the possibility of the society being scrambled. We are looking at the prevention on how to handle the points when they come to, or when the consequences of ignoring the boy child will result to the scramble. Thank you.
Excuse, you've not yet answered.
Okay, let me answer you. I know what you want. When you talk about the future is built by the present, true?
Very true.
Yeah. It is built when this boy left out, irresponsible, unreliable, is empowered. It is built when this girl was out.
Let me repeat the question. I know where you are driving to. Should the future of our society be scrambled because we are not willing to empower the girl child?
Okay. So I will add something,
answer,
okay?
please.
I will add something, okay? Yeah. We should not, okay? We should not let the society be scrambled because of failing to empower the girl. As I said earlier, I'm not against the fact that girls are being empowered, but you are forgetting something. The boy child is vital, it's very important. And you'll try to argue. I know you are taking your mic in order to argue, but I'm telling you the truth. You might seem to push for girls' empowerment, but you're forgetting something. The boy is also human and very important, and also very fundamental to the society.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph, for that answer. And I will also I don't want anyone to accuse me of denying him or her the freedom of expression. I'd like a question from Our Lady.
Please, can I clarify something before we move on? So thank you for joining hands with me to my statement that I said that the empowerment of the girl child is simply an equalization. So it's not that the boy child is being neglected. It's only that we are trying to equalize the status the boy child had before. Yeah.
But why are you putting it as the future of the society being scrambled? Are the girls not being empowered right now as we speak? Are they not being empowered?
If you
Answer
had,
me
if you
directly,
had heard
please.
what I said, Mercy, if you had heard what I said that the boy child disappointed the society. And so because the boy child disappointed the society had to look for another option, that is the girl child.
Why
Imagine.
did they
let me
disappoint the
finish.
society? Let me ask you this question, please. Why did they disappoint?
Because
Was the empowerment same
of-
as that given to the girl child now?
It goes back to what I said. Choices are very important. The boy child chose wrong choices by taking drugs.
Because of the kind of empowerment.
But the boy child is so blinded that he cannot see that what the society is doing for him.
Why is he blinded? Because of the empowerment. We just come back to the empowerment.
Because of the empowerment,
Yeah.
a fact that I don't deny. But the boy child had the attention before, remember?
Just
he had
the
everything.
attention.
He
It
was
was not the
empowered.
same as how you are keeping your
Okay.
girl as so.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to hold you on that.
15 seconds.
Allow me to hold you.
10 seconds.
Sometimes wisdom demands that we remain silent. This such a time. Now, allow me to move to our sister here. She has a very good question to ask.
Hey, I'm Nicole. So I'm pointing my question to Brian Mwema. So I'm relating my question to the story given by this boy Mwaura, who said about his friend who was raped. He was a boy, right? Then there's this woman who came after with the same case, but she was given the first priority. So my question is, don't you think we are being a little bit gender biased and going on the contrary of the Constitution when we support the girl child and ignore the boy child?
Yeah, thank you. First, girls are very different from boys, and I'm a man. Talking of a man being raped, as in rape. You get it? Rape. As in, men.
Brian, if I get you right, maybe I think that you are trying to term it as a favor when a boy is raped.
Okay, no, it's not a favor. No, Eliud, it's not a favor. But can I please can I be deep? Allow me. Let me go. As in, men erect before being raped. As in, when you are pushed, there is no way your feelings will rise as a man. It's so. Can I use Kiswahili? As in, it's so. You get what I'm saying? As in, there's no way you will be pushed. And when he gave the story, I had so many question marks, because as a man, there's no way that you will be pushed to rape a woman if you are not willing. Because if I'm not willing to erect as a man, there's no way he will rape me. She will rape me. Sorry. Yeah. This before you base your argument, first look at what happened. As in, I'm not saying that they are not men who have been raped, but
Mr. Brian, don't you think? Thank you for those claps, but Mr. Brian, don't you think you are infringing the laws of the Constitution when you say that? When you look at the girl child, since allow me to read this article, chapter 4, article 48. It says that the state shall ensure access to justice for all persons, and if any fee is required, it shall be reasonable and shall not impede access to justice. Can you clarify on that?
Eliud, as in, when I base my argument on that story, as in the act of the woman being favored than the male, we are all human, Eliud, and as a lady will tend to be more affected than the man, which is very true. Ladies are so emotional than men. The way Nicole handles things is not how I will handle things. And so ladies are like eggs. As in, I may call her a dog, and she will remember it 30 years later that Mwema called me a dog. That's why, as in, we tend to give them first priority because they are fragile.
So that first priority, basing on the consideration that the boy child was denied a chance to explain himself when he was being raped. Now, don't you think that thing, it does not correspond according, actually the way you are saying it is actually injustice.
So it's injustice for a police officer attending to a lady raped.
Injustice when the girl is given the first priority, or then the boy is neglected.
But remember, Eliud, girls are, as in, they are fragile than men. Men, we can handle so much.
So, Mr. Brand, when you are raped, you can handle it?
I can handle it. With all, I can handle it. But I'm not fearing the camera. I can handle it.
Then you must be having a very serious problem.
It's not a problem, Eliud. It's not a problem because, as what I know, as in, girls are so fragile, and they should be treated with so much care. The care that, as in, they are like eggs. They can break anytime, and so we should give them the attention that they deserve, which the attention that the society never gives them. So we are. It's a symbol of the 21st century us trying to compensate what the girl child never got. Thank you.
Mr. Brian, I'm sorry, but I have a very itchy question. So this is my question. You just talked about men or boys having feelings, erecting. I think we are all human beings. So I think girls, they also have feelings. So explain.
You never got me. As in the course of for a man to erect, the feelings must rise. And there's no way that I'll put someone in a fridge and expect the person to erect. It's impossible.
Feelings, they are not negotiable. Whether you like it or not, they may come, they may not come. So this question is quite ambivalent. Now let's try to move to our brother here. Our brother there, he has a very good question also.
I'm Kamau again, and I have this question directed to Brian. I may ask, if I may ask, talking about delicacy and women being like eggs. Assume you are walking and you are holding an egg, which is the boy, in your hand, and you saw another egg on the floor, which is the girl child. Do you mean you drop the first egg you had, the boy child, and pick the other one to empower it?
Thank you.
Maybe before you start.
Please, can I answer it before I get lost?
Yeah, maybe you start.
10 seconds.
I need to ask him, Bede, I need you to become my lawyer. Then we shall talk after this. Senior.
Thank you. As I said, the boy child had disappointed the society after getting full attention. So the egg that you're talking about is rotten. So should I still continue holding the rotten egg and leave a good egg? In fact, I'll throw the rotten egg and pick the red egg.
Okay.
Before you continue, if I may ask, this society was built by men and women together, and if you decide to let go of the man, the boy child, where do we head with only the girl child?
A point of correction, we are not saying that we are throwing the boy child alone. We are just
Brian, you cannot pick a rotten egg. You are simply saying that the rotten egg you are throwing.
Okay. It was just a symbol, Eliud. As in, so I say that for us, for us who are living in this century, it's an equalization of what, as in, for what we are doing to the girl child, we are trying to, it's as if we are trying to repay for what was never given to them. The attention, the land, the inheritance, and everything. It's a symbol of us trying to compensate them. You get what I'm saying?
Those were responses from Mr. Brand. Before you go on, let us hear a question from this lady with the blue dress.
My first question will go to my sister Mercy. She said that ladies or girls are being given much attention than boys. Actually, I think in that point you are wrong, because boys are also given attention. It's only that, for example, when I base my question on Kamau's, on what he talked about earlier, he said that when her sister fell down, her mother told her, "Baby, sorry," something like that. And when he fell down, he was told, "Oh, you are a man, go vumilia," something like that. And we understand well that men are the head of the family. And if you raise a boy child when he's still young and told, "Oh, Baba, sorry, you will get well," Baba will just continue getting well. Every now and then, Baba will just lie there. His Baba will get well. He will not be responsible. And that is not true. Boy child is not being neglected.
Yeah, okay, it's even good you brought up the question. Because when you talk about head of the family, you just don't become a head just like that. You need the subordinate people. That's the women. That's where we are getting to you. So this attention being given to the boy child, it should also be the same. They should also feel as if they are acceptable. As in, that story means many things than just saying jikaze weni mwanaume. That's why even the mortality rate of these men are going down, because they are not supported. They are expected to come with food and money at home because they are the head of the family. So to bring this situation into a normal place, we have to empower them. We have to show them that you are equal as them, as the girls. You're not, as in, we have to show them that fragile doesn't come with saying. They will become stronger. The more you say, when I tell you sorry, you even feel better. You feel like continuing again. But when you say jikaze weni mwanaume, it brings out, okay, mimi ni mwanaume. That's why they are even dying faster. So please, you can't just say waendelee kujikaza. You must tell them that sorry. Point of correction, when the girl was told sorry, what did she do? She woke up and said, "Sawa, mom," because of what? She's happy with the sorry. She becomes a responsible girl because of that sorry. So she doesn't become lazy. She says, "My mom cares for me." She even tells me sorry when I fall down. So that's a key point to make her push on with life. So that's how the boy child should also be done.
Yes.
What she's trying to say, she's trying to ask, what kind of men will we have if we? Okay. The question is that you are not telling the men sorry as the ladies are being told. So what kind of men will we have if we treat them as girls? Imagine I was treated as a girl. I was soothed as a girl. Will there be a strong man? Nitaenda kutafuta mjengo?
Excuse, hasn't the lady become strong as she is with that just sorry? Hasn't she become strong as you have said? As in, like, stop bringing this man as in someone who is hardcore. You don't have to be hard to be a great person. You can just still go down and tell this boy sorry. It means a lot.
Okay.
That's where you're mistaking with your African man mentality.
Okay, let me hold you on that. Another Mr. Brian, take it easy. Another question from a guy with the gray shirt.
Okay, I have a question. My name is James, and I'm passing my question to my brother Aya Joseph. Actually, across the continent, it is very evident that there's a high percentage of boys who engage in drug and substance abuse. So my question is, if we invest much in educating this child, and maybe due to curiosity and independence, he engages in drug abuse, will we now invest more in rehabilitating him, or will we neglect him? Thank you.
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah. So, as I said earlier, there's nothing better like prevention. It has already occurred that there's high percentage of boys indulging in drug abuse. Correct? You have said like that? Yeah, there's high percentage. But don't you think there's a problem in our school setup that even if the boys get the knowledge, for example, if you are in high school, you are taught you're supposed to titrate like this, but you aren't taught the importance of that titration. So it's the same thing which happens in our schools. Teachers only teach us to grow and pass our exams, but they don't instill that life skill knowledge, which is very important. And that's why you're finding a lot of problems when it comes that the boys have already gotten the knowledge of schools, but not the knowledge of life. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for that response. We also have a guy there with a shirt striped with red. He has a question.
Okay, thank you. My name's Kevin Devo, and I have a question heading to Joseph. Yeah. If you think you are empowering girls, where are girls? We have some players, we have some coaches, and still we can't see girls in our leagues. So I'm sorry that this question is not heading to you, it's to Samuel. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think your question is straight, because what you're trying to ask, you're asking if we empower girls, and when we look at on the field, we only see men. Why can't we bring men, train girls, women, so that they can be like them? So according to your question, the way I can answer you, I can only say that we are supposed to empower women so that they can be like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. We also have another question, the guy with the red t-shirt.
My name is Lavelle. My question goes to Joseph. It has been proven by nature that the male is the dominant species. We can see like lions, in the pride, the females are the ones which go to hunt. Even naturally, the world record holder for 100 meters sprint is a man, Usain Bolt. So it can be concluded that men are actually much stronger and dominant. So my question comes here. Let's look at countries like Saudi Arabia, whereby women aren't allowed to drive, or airlines like Fly Emirates, where there are no female pilots. So is it wrong to say that these ladies shouldn't be given a chance to do what men are allowed to do?
Thank you. As I said, I'm advocating for fairness. That's the first thing I will answer you with. I'm not saying that the boy child should be on a higher rate than the woman. And I'm not saying the girl or the ladies should be on a higher rate than the men. So to answer you, I will say like this. Wherever those countries or those, wherever you hear like the 100-meter record, it's a man. But that's just one hero, you know. There are many unsung heroes in Kenya. We are basing on Kenya. Even wherever in that Saudi Arabia, something like that, there are men or there are boys who suffer most. We can look at the women who maybe they are not allowed to drive. Can't we see that there is a problem in the way men take things? That's why the women are not allowed to do so. So it means that us who are learned and who have that knowledge, we should advocate for fairness so that these things can be pushed away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. You also have...
and to add on the question, when we were bringing up this boy, we didn't teach him equality. We didn't do that. That's why we are getting this situation where men are dominating higher places. And this is going to be eradicated because these girls are being empowered. They are being shown the way. But these boys will be left out now. They'll be people who will never be recognized. So I see, as in, when we empower these boys, they'll know the importance of the women and the ladies in the society.
Thank you, Mercy. We also have another question.
I'm Esther Ndanu. This question goes to Joseph, if I'm not wrong. Okay, according to the past, have you ever noticed that boys took a lot of priorities? Like, a girl could not do some things, e.g., like the way he has said, I'm emphasizing on what he has said. In Saudi Arabia, girls or women are not like pilots. Taking an example that even which I can support that boys are not being neglected. Okay, this is an example. I have a friend who is a girl. So he has there are 2 girls and 1 boy. So the mother is ever soft. Most of the mothers, in quotes, are ever soft to boys than girls. And when you see when a boy when a boy disappoints the mother, it isn't easy for the mother to come to the boy directly. And always the mother is always at the side of the boy, even if he's wrong or right. But a girl, the mother is always the other side of the girl. Why? There's very big difference between a boy and a girl, and girls are being neglected. So we are supposed to urge girls, support girls, because girls, kuna vyenye wasichana huwa mna discourage wasichana, si ndio? Kuna vile mna discourage wasichana as in kuliko vijana venye mko. That's the point.
Okay. Thank you. I will start by saying, right now we are not in the traditional days, okay? And we gotta understand that we have moved on to new things. In the past, boys were herders, boys were hunters, boys were guarders, warriors. They used to take care of the house. But right now, we have changed. We have changed in the way that we are not taking so much herding into the concept like it was back then. So it means that we are only seeing what boys did, forgetting what boys didn't do. Girls in the past were cooking. Girls in the past were taking care of the house, cleaning everything, or even they were taught how to sit, how to talk, how to do everything. But what about the boy? He wasn't told how to sit, how to do anything. So that boy, when he grows up, yes, he became a soldier.
Okay, I like to comment on the question answering and supporting something that they have said. Girls, we are supposed to help them because we have seen that they are being left behind in each and everything that they do. For example, we are trying to look at the modern days. They talked about the flight, the women. Mostly, even if you go to our country, there, Kenyatta Airport, most of long distance flight, men are the one who are pilots. And when we go to our campuses, people who usually do what? People who are doing engineering, mechanical engineering, they are boys, not girls. I think we are supposed to bring girls so that we can be equal with boys. But if we continue giving the mentality of boys to go on, the girls will never be equal.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. We have to take a short break, but when we come back, we still have 2 special guests for us. Don't go anywhere. Well, we have been having sparking conversations with the previous panelists and our audience as well. We would like to get your thoughts on this. We always have boys and girls, men and women who have held to the hope, who have held to the belief and the conviction that there is always a better life and a better world. What would you say, Madam Esther, what would you say to these boys and girls out there?
My responsibility is to teach them the word of God. And in as much as there are so many things happening, something about being neglected, something about being favored. But my responsibility is to teach you of your importance as a girl and also as a boy. All of you are important in the eyes of God. And kila moja wenu lazima you live to your standard. Don't look at the other party who is favoring who is not being favored. But as a young boy or a young girl, you do your best. The Bible tells us that the boys are to grow up, according to the word of God in Psalms, they are to grow up as plants, and the girls are to be polished. So, kila moja wenu ni muhimu, na kila moja wenu lazima muishi up to the standard ambayo iko expected of you, without feeling inferior, without feeling you're pushed back or no one is concerned about you. Lazima ukwe na the inner ability, the inner strength. Do you know whom you are? Do you know whom you're supposed to be? Do you know where you are going? Because if you know whom you are, if you know where you are going, if you know what you want to be, hautashtuliwa na ni nani ananifavor ama ni nani ananiregret. Utaishi to your best. One other thing which I believe, I always tell you that you are VIPs, very important people. So that is what I expect each and every one of you to be. Knowing whom you are, knowing what is expected of you, and being the best in your field, without worrying ni nani ananipenda, ni nani anani-neglect, na ni nani anani-support. Having the inner ability to do the best and to be the best in your life.
Thank you, Madam Esther. And moving on swiftly to Mr. Edwin Chetambe, what would you say to that boy child or that girl child out there who could probably be feeling neglected?
I think I'm very much pleased to hear how our teens were debating and the way they were talking. So I'm very glad, but I will respond to some of the things that they were talking. First, people were saying that traditionally a man was superior. In fact, that's what the Bible says. But for me to stand here as also a teacher of the teens, this is what I want to tell, because even the Bible, the way it was written, you see, it was written at a different time. It was written at those old times. I know the Bible is relevant up to this moment, but we need to read the Bible and take it. No, we cannot take everything, because when you look at the Bible, even at the past, people were not wearing trousers, the ladies. But even at the moment, ladies are still wearing trousers. It does not mean that they are unholy. They are still holy. But now to come to our question on how the boy child and the girl child matters, this is what I want to talk about, because most of the things, like if we are going to follow the tradition, we are going to fail as a society. And that's why those traditions that were putting the girl child, those traditions that were subverting the will of the girl child, we need to neglect them. Why? Because a woman was not just born to stay in the house. A woman was not just born to wash the utensils. A woman was born to do much more things. And that's why when the topic was going on, whether a woman is being empowered more than the girl child, to me, I will say that at least the woman is being empowered to know his roles. Because there was a time when a woman was being neglected. And it reached a point where a woman now needs to know his role. And that's why, look at the Bible. When Jesus came, he chose the 12 disciples. What was the function of the 12 disciples? It was to empower them with this word, such that even when he goes away, he's still leaving people with ability, people who can still go and do his work. And now when the girl child is being empowered, she's just being empowered to know their roles. which is very important in the society. When they were talking about the late woman, Wangari Maathai, I look at that girl, I look at that woman, and when you read his history, how many degrees he had, how many PhDs he had, we need to reach a point and know that one thing is for real, this woman was empowered. And if he was not empowered, we could not have been talking about her. And when a girl child is being empowered, I usually say this, that what a man can do, a woman can also do it better. So when a woman is being empowered, he is also being empowered to know his roles. But for me, when you say that they are being favored on the other side and they are not being favored, I think I would say they are just being educated on their roles, and that's what they need to know. And before I maybe take a point, there was another point which was being said that maybe the men in the society, or the boy child, they are the one who are being involved in terrorism or what. But we need to put that aside, because there was an attack that happened in Lamu, in Mombasa, and the mastermind people behind those attacks were the ladies. So if we say that terrorism is being related to men, I think we are missing the point. But the fact is, as much as we are now empowering the ladies, my point is we also need to empower the men. We also need to empower the boy child, because they reach a point and they lose their role, and they don't focus on their role. And that's why when you grow up and maybe you don't realize what you are supposed to do, that's when divorce will happen in our families. That's why many things will happen to our children. Because look at this, when a man has forgotten his roles, it does not mean that he doesn't know. There are some people who have not been reminded of their roles, which is very important. And the word of God says, if a man is supposed to be the head, and when the woman comes in and the woman wants to be the head, it cannot work. Now, if the man is empowered to know his roles, I think the woman will also have to calm down under the will of the man, so that family will grow. Look at if a man has not received, now I'm talking in the Bible sense, if a man has not received the right word, that's why they were saying, I think some was the one who was saying he read the book of the river and the source, where they were saying it is hard for who? The man to change a woman, and the woman to change a man. But look at this, if a man is born again in a family, it will be very easy for the woman to be born again. But if a woman is born again, for me, I think it is very hard for a man to be born again. And if the man will stand in the society after he has been empowered with God's word, with good teachings, with good education, I'm telling you that family will be able to stand. So I'm just urging us, as we grow, maybe as you will have families at the end of it, let us be empowered. And empowerment as Christians starts from having the word of God, from having the right doctrine, from having the right education, and from receiving the right trainings. And may God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Edu. Someone from the audience has a really burning question, and he is pointing out that it's directly and strictly forwarded to you. We have a guy there in a pink shirt.
My name is Daniel, and my question was, who is doing anything for the boys? Because I'm not seeing anyone or anybody creating or operating programs for the boy.
Thank you so much, Dan. I think it's a good question, and we also need to address it. You see, as I stand here, I am a moderator, and I will not lie to the girl child or the boy child, but I will talk the fact. And the fact is, at the moment, we are actually having many of the trainings, many of the, maybe let me say like mikutano nyingi being directed to the ladies, because maybe it is related to the ladies because they want to be empowered. But this is what I will say. Since I've never heard of maybe many of the men or boy child forums being articulated in our society, I think we have let us confess that we have failed as a society, because it is not about the ladies or the men who need the trainings. It is about all of us. We all need those trainings. And When I focus, there is somebody who said about the scholarships, they are being given to the ladies more than the men. We also need to look at that, because how can we give those scholarships to our ladies only, or to our ladies, more of it to the ladies, and we forget the boy child? This is where I will say that if I will find any opportunity, to be in a good place where I will conduct some forums, such that like our brother has organized it, Mr. Elliot, I think we need these teachings more and more. And we need people who will come from outside, the moderators or the trainers who will come in and try to also boost the society in matters of the boy child training.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Edwin. Actually, we appreciate a lot. We also have another question from our sister behind there, which is directed to our madam here, Esther Kamau.
Okay, I'm Becky. I want to ask, in these modern days, when you come to church, most population near girls, but boys are you go church.
And that is where we are. And that is why, okay, I see that this is my responsibility as a child minister, both to encourage the parents and every other youngster that come near me. And also, I always encourage you. And it is something that I've been doing. I encourage each and every one of you, true or false? Yes. And also encouraging the parents not to leave out their boy child at home. And as a church, I believe we are the best church in the whole world. Yes. That is what we usually do. We encourage both the boy child and the girl child together, because we are bringing you up together concurrently. We are not leaving any one of you behind, but we are moving together as a family, the boy child, the girl child together. We are building you up together for the betterment of a better society ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We also have another question from our brother there. He would like you to respond to his question.
My name is Edwin. Maybe let's say you have an elder sister, or back in school there is a girl who you study with, or let's say he defeats you in an exam. The teacher will say, look at you, you are defeated by a girl, you should be an example to him, to her. And back at home, maybe your sister was performing better than you, and your parent wants you to perform to be like her.
What I always encourage is that you be the best on your best subjects when it comes to school. You may not be the best in all subjects. Maybe the best subjects that your sister is performing well are not your best subjects, but on your side there is something you're doing best. So you be best in your best. Are you getting me? Yes. What are your strong subjects? Try to your level best to be best in your best on your best subjects, because in doing that you prove your parent wrong. Something else, I believe the Bible says that will be the head only and not the tail, but that does not necessarily say that to be number one in all subjects. So your responsibility is to put a lot of efforts tirelessly in whatsoever you be able to do. You study so much, and you'll be at the end of it all, you'll be able to perform best in your best in the subjects that you find best, and also as you put effort in your weak subjects. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Esther, for that response. I hope you are well satisfied with her response. Okay, the overall expected outcome is to see young men and women of honor unlock and recognize their potential of becoming leaders in their areas of influence. To sponsor or to support this initiative, contact us through the details running below your screens. Join us every Sunday at Deliverance Church in Bulbul, where we get to talk talks that concerns you and I. See you next time.